Dan Archer. I started a business called Visiting Angels in November 2017. And we currently have 54 offices across the UK, coming down to 16 so far this year, which is and I've been working in care since 2011. I'm former head of marketing for home and senior care. I used to run a business called ProMedica 24, which was a nationwide living care provider. I was afforded a bit of gardening leave when I quit the job with ProMedica 24, and the 6 months gardening leave I spent doing some research on the sector. And I looked at somewhere in the region of 50 businesses. Dom care businesses, looked at franchised dom care businesses, looked at resi, looked at extra care facilities. And what I found quite shocked me, because as I looked across those businesses, none of them had a mission statement which was people focused. All of them had client and service delivery focused mission statements. And I thought that's a bit odd. That's the biggest problem we've all got. So either when you focus on your people it doesn't work, or nobody's had that idea yet. And thankfully it was the latter. So when I started Visiting Angels with a bit of clarity, and it was, I would say probably half a bottle of vodka in a dark room was what gave me the clarity. I was the first person on the planet to use the words carer-centric. I'm becoming increasingly proud of that. What I mean by carer-centricity is that we've made our carers, our caregivers, our care professionals, call them what you will, the most important people in our organisation. I've made me, as the owner of the business, the least important person in my organisation. We have an inverted organisational chart, as I said just before lunch. We set out to redefine the role of carers in society, the second part of our mission statement, to redefine the role of carers in society. And I was ready for that being a difficult thing to do, because society is this great big amorphous blob, and when you press in one area it spills out into other areas. But I was ready for that challenge. I wasn't ready for the challenge involved in redefining the role of a carer in the eyes of a carer. And it broke my heart in the first 18 months of the life of my business that I was promising to treat caregivers better, and they just didn't believe it. So they'd had years of being lied to or let down or disappointed. So what do? Well, we pay people well. We pay people 12 to £16 an hour. We pay for travel time. We pay mileage as well. We guarantee contracts, not zero-hour contracts. We guarantee pay increases each year. We do all of this wonderful stuff. But actually, culturally, we start from a position of saying to our staff, you are more important than everybody else, including the client that we are delivering care to. Because my job as the owner of a care business is to look after my carers. Their job is to look after their clients. So I would absolutely echo everything that's been said by the panel so far. We've got 152,000 vacancies in adult social care. There are vacancies also in retail and hospitality. We are fighting for good people. If we are going to win that fight, and also if we're going to encourage people from outside the sector to join the sector, because they're too good to sit on the till in Tesco scanning beans all day long, then we have to redefine the job. The job's got to be more attractive. We need to make the job more attractive. If the job is more attractive, we're better placed to keep our people. And if we can keep our people, we can do the work that's needed by an ageing population, which is increasingly clinical in orientation and far more complex than it was 15, 20 or 30 years ago. So we recruited 180 caregivers last month, so it works. Pilot business for my organisation, we started in Sheffield. I've got a trainee care manager there called Natalie. Natalie was an ex-hairdresser who joined us as a carer in 2018. She supported our first ever clients in the UK. And when she supported Dorothy, she delivered 72% of all of Dorothy's visits. And that's starting on 14 hours a week, dropping down to 7, going back up to 14, going to 21, going to 28, going to 42 as her condition progressed. Yeah? She then left her role as a caregiver and became a training manager. She's now a trainee care manager. So if you give people a career path that allows them the flexibility to move their career forward and stay in the organisation, you retain them. And I think the tension that exists between consistency and continuity of care and the flexibility that's sought by people can be fixed by having a conversation with your carer and finding out if their availability changes, that's okay. Because actually, it's better to keep them 50% of the time and deliver that continuity than it is to lose them to another provider, which means the client gets no continuity at all. I mean, we take an approach that I don't want any full-time staff working in business.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
And I will staff a rota with 3 times as many people, and I can do that because I'm paying more and looking after them better and therefore appealing to a broader audience, I guess. Yeah. But it means that people are earning slightly more, fewer hours of work, and therefore not burning out quite so much. You need more people. It's the only way to do it. If you're going to have that flexibility, and when we recruit, we sit down with someone and say, look, what hours can you commit to consistently, regularly, without change? Don't tell me what you think they want to hear. Tell me what you're going to be able to guarantee you can do. And if you're working then within unless someone's circumstance changes, you're working in where they can work. It's easier to be able to kind of to buddy them up with someone that can pick up the evenings if they're doing mornings. We have varying levels of minimum guaranteed hours. Okay? So people's hours will be made up by guaranteed. So they can get funding through car loans and things that they need around that as well. But I think there's a fundamental tension. We're talking about, Martin mentioned 29% staff turnover. I mean, I dispute that figure because I think that's probably a social care figure. I'm pretty sure that the staff turnover rate in domiciliary care is much higher than it is in residential. Because in domiciliary we're asking people to travel around all over the place, right? So whether that figure is actually 50, 60 or 70%, there's a fundamental tension between a provider saying, I don't get loyalty from my people, and then not extending them any loyalty by giving them a 0-hour contract.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a globalist. Cards on the table. I was born in 1974. I've been a European for all my adult life, so I don't understand Brexit. Can't get my head around the fact I'm not European anymore. And I talked about my prior role prior to visiting. I was running an organisation in the UK that had 52 recruitment offices in 5 European countries, bringing European care workers to the UK. And then we voted for Brexit. And I thought, do you know what, not much future in this game. And so I got out of that. And we didn't want those sort of foreign workers, but now we want a different sort of foreign workers, and that's okay. Yeah. And I would absolutely echo what Rain said. I can genuinely see this is not about an immigrant worker. This is not about someone from a foreign country coming to the UK to work. If they are the right people, and we have the right opportunity, and it doesn't have a detrimental effect on their country of origin, then it's, as a globalist, I absolutely would applaud it. And I can see in residential, there's definitely a case for it. Domiciliary, it's problematic. And I would question the motivations of the individuals who are going down the road of licensing in domiciliary. Because, this is not a critique.
No,
because if there are people who are doing this because it's the right thing to do, and because they already address their own house, they've got a good staff retention strategy in place, the role of work they're asking their UK workers to do is the right role of work, and they're expecting to recruit an overseas worker to come to the UK to do that as well, that's cool. If they're going down the road of a visa licence because they can't get enough UK workers, and they've not yet put their own house in order, I've got a real problem with that. Because we are not going to fix 152,000 vacancies by finding people from around the world who don't know how hard the job is, bringing them to the UK and hoping they don't find out. Because they figure it out pretty quickly. Right? So we've first and foremost got to address the job. What work are we asking home care workers to do to make that more attractive? And if it's then more attractive to people in the UK, that's great. If it's more attractive to people from overseas, that's great as well.
Open it up. Anyone got any tips that they find really works for retention, for keeping their care workers?
What would I say? Paid travel time, better pay, car servicing, free life insurance, free car valets. I run a music festival in summertime each year called Carefest. 350 people came to Carefest last year, so 4 live
To
bands.
listen to you, Dan.
No, I didn't. 4 live bands, hog roast beer, tent gin, tent Christmas party, Easter party, care of the month, care of the week, care of the year, recognising office staff as well. All of that's great stuff, right? But here's the thing. You're going to listen to me say that and say, well, it's all right for you, Dan, you're a private provider. You can afford to pay people for that. Yeah? Culture. Culture's free. Leave you for 5 pence more somewhere else. Yeah? They're not leaving because of the 5 pence, they're leaving because of the way they were spoken to or the way they were treated. Yeah? Those people that work in home care that wag their fingers at people or shout at them or take their shifts off them to punish them for something they've done. It happens. Yeah? So don't do all of that. Culture has got to be the way to do it. Okay? And if you put your culture first, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Thank you to the panel.